with COVID, with COVID per se, vis-a-vis any other, kind of disease which we have faced? I mean, that is a question I want to start with, and I think all of us can, in the meanwhile, think that why this has become like a pandemic, all, why it has gone into our minds, and it has really questioned our whole existence, so to say. What is different with COVID? Why this whole fear which is coming up? Is it the thought we are creating? Is it just what the media is presenting to us? What exactly is happening? I mean, we have had diseases earlier. There was plague, there was other things, and there was SARS, and but never has it happened like this. Is it just a mass production? Is it bio warfare? What is it? What is happening in our mind, and what is creating that thought in our mind that that we are so scared? Why are we so scared? It is a disease. Agreed, it is in mammoth proportions. I agree with that. We have named it as a pandemic. So that is my first thought here, that what is it which is going on inside us? Because if we think of that, I think the rest of the topic for today will fall in place. Why that fear is there, why that anxiety is there. And one more question, food for thought here, is why, really speaking, is that fear playing on us? Why are we so anxious? Any which way we are going to die, any which way we can contract a disease, any which way we don't know that if you're going to stand up or go out and drive and do what. Life is still that same. Life is still uncertain. We know that if we are here on this planet in this physical body, we are going to die one day. Then what is the difference right now that COVID has caused within us? So that is a food for thought I want to start the topic with today. Why this fear and anxiety? I agree there is fear and anxiety. So let us look at some pointers here. What is going on inside our head? Are we watching too much of news? Why are we scared? Because of the suddenly the social distancing has happened, because we are not used to it. We are taken aback by the whole situation. We don't know what's happening, but anyways, we didn't know what was happening. So what is the sudden change here? We were never aware of what is going to happen in the next moment. So why this whole thing? Has it taken us, unawares? Or on the other hand, my take on this would be that why has it come? What are we supposed to learn from it? Have we learned that lesson in this 1 year? Have we taken over the fear and anxiety? Have we kind of gained the strength to move above that? Let's say, I mean, I call it that white elephant in the room. Is it still that white elephant in the room? Why is that fear? Are we going inside and tackling within to say, okay, this is there? Has it become a mental health issue for some? Has it become something which is so much bigger than our whole persona? So these are questions which I am sure each one of us is thinking. And coming to this whole topic, which is fear and anxiety. Now, personally, if you ask me, all of us have fears. I fear lizards as an example. I really do not like lizards. So fear is somewhere there lurking inside. It could be because of a childhood interaction we might have had. It could be because of something else. Like, again, on a personal note, I really do not like night driving. I don't like, because I saw my father struggle with it. So that's a fear. It is an inbuilt thing, and I have never ever thought of kind of treating it. So, how is that similar or dissimilar to the fear or anxiety that COVID is giving us? What is going on inside us? And believe me, I've talked to so many people who have not had that fear, people who have thought that this is a disease, have been cured of it. People who have fought, we are calling them COVID warriors. I would not use that word somehow, because warriors are different people. But it's just a mind game at the end of the day, right? I'm not denying the fact that we have lost so many lives. I'm really not discounting anything, but we are talking here about fear and anxiety. So what is it inside of us that we have made this into a monster, a dragon which is breathing down our neck? I mean, we are so scared that we sanitize everything. We I think some of our hands, some of us have had rashes with the sanitizer. We are not allowing anybody inside. Who's giving us, who is giving us these instructions? There is somebody there. Okay, we have precautions. Fine, do it. But why the scare? No, I'll not go for a walk in the morning. Now it is in the air. Yeah, somebody told me when this whole thing was going on, don't go for a walk, it's in the air. But tell me something, and isn't that air inside your house? Isn't that air inside your, I mean, logically speaking, what is it? I mean, that is my question again. And what are the steps we need to take to remove these fears and anxieties within us? And believe me,
बहुत boring यार.
if the first thing we take here is fear, above that I would put all of this as a mind game. If this is a mind game, then the whole plethora of things like fear, anxiety, loneliness, any other negative thought that we have, all of it will come under the fact that mentally we are not strong to face this. Are we ready to cross the road right now? We do cross the road every day. Something can still happen. Today I might get a disease, someone else might get a disease, my loved one will get a disease. This whole panic situation which we have created, was it really called for? Now coming to the topic of fear and anxiety. Fear, what is fear? I mean, let us close our eyes probably for a minute, put our hand on our hearts, and just think for a minute that what are we fearful of? What are we fearful of? Everyone will have a different answer. Fear of losing someone, fear of losing a job, which so many have, lost their jobs, fear of losing livelihood, fear of losing something else. Businesses have gone, people have gone bankrupt. What is the main fear? Or is it the fear of contracting the disease? Have we ever thought of defining this? What are we fearful for? What is the fear? Are we fearful of catching the disease? Okay, let's say you catch the disease, then what? You will catch it any which way. You will catch it any which way. If you are projecting that thought, you will catch it. But then so what? So what? What next? What next? I mean, you say, okay, next this will happen. On the other hand, if I dissociate myself from that, then I will have taken a new line of action and overcome that fear. So to me, that is the solution, so to say, for everything that we face in life. And COVID is just another nature's way, I would say, for to tell us that we need to change ourselves. If we change ourselves, if we accept, if we learn that where are we going wrong, if we have a good exercise regime or whatever you wish to do, then I think we will be better equipped to face any pandemic or anything else. And this is not the end. The world has changed, and this will change if we don't change. So that is the whole idea behind the fear and the anxiety. Now, how to combat fear or how to combat anxiety and how to combat the loneliness? I feel again, loneliness is, yes, Jayashree, you saying something?
Yeah, I just want to say something while what you were talking about is what is it different from other things and what is the fear?
Sure.
See, if you had contracted a disease like cancer, you knew that you could go into a hospital, you would have doctors who are going to treat you and you would get a treatment. The magnitude of this particular pandemic is such that the fear factor is that, can I even get treatment? Can I even be getting a doctor to be able to attend to me? to be able to tell me what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
So that is one aspect which is different
Mm-hmm.
to the normal other aspects of being on this earth. Yes, I know that one day I have to go. I can die crossing the road. All that is well said. I'm not denying anything that you've said so far.
Mhm.
But the difference lies in the fact that, and let me tell you, there was a difference in the way we thought out, at least in India, way
Mhm.
we thought out in the first phase of the pandemic and the second wave that's come, is that the first phase, it was just numbers. It happened to somebody somewhere.
Right.
It wasn't hitting you at home. In the second phase, almost every family
Mm.
has had either a loved one, a near and dear family, or a distant family, or a dear friend, or a colleague, someone known to us closely, who is not, being able to has succumbed to the disease. So that difference in the perspective, I'm not saying that we thought about it that way, is what is being presented to us in front of our face. And our thought process is then undergoing a change.
I agree totally, Shashi, but
So you find that that is one of the major differences in the way we are going to look at it for the future also.
I
Because
agree.
now people are getting prepared for a third wave.
No,
So
I agree totally.
maybe the fear will be much less, because we feel that, yes, we are coming more prepared for it. So that preparedness is maybe an assuaging of the fear. I'm just thinking aloud, maybe it's not going to happen, maybe it's going to happen. We have to wait and watch. But how it is different to any other disease you can contract or any other thing, is the fact that whether I'm going to be able to get treated, am I going to get a place in the hospital, am I going to get the kind of treatment I need, is the major difference between this and all the other baggage of diseases that you can contract, where you know that you will get treated. Whether the answer is not whether I'm going to live or not. The answer is whether I'm going to be able to get any treatment at all. Phase one.
Yeah.
The live or not comes in the second part of it.
I agree.
Just my thinking.
Yeah, I agree. But see, the second phase, actually, I would call it a system failure. For it, I mean, I am very apolitical, but that is a system failure. As human beings, as anywhere, we were not supposed, it was not our job to look for hospitals or for oxygen. So that, of course, we are deviating from the topic. But what you're saying about the treatment part, I really like that one point which I'm trying to, what you made and what is I'm also making is what is being presented to us. That is the problem. What is being presented to us? The reality out there, we don't know.
No, the reality we know, because this is being told to us by the people who are actually undergoing it or suffering it or dying because of it.
Reality. That's what I'm saying. That's not the reality. People who are at grassroots level, I have so many people who are working at grassroots level. The reality is entirely different. But anyway, that is like going away from the topic. What you're talking about treatment, if we come out of our myopic vision, how many people are getting treated anyways? How many? My family, I have my brother and sister-in-law doctors. They are from AIMS. Now they are abroad. How many people do get treated? My girls here, I mean, they stay, even now, it is in all the villages. Nobody is getting any treatment. People are dying, falling. It's just so we are a very privileged lot, so to say. There is a lot of uncertainty we have built up. There is a lot of fear we have built up because of what is being presented to us. And we, as human beings, I think the biggest learning which I have had is that we take things a lot for granted. This has just boiled out of proportion. We didn't know. It's like the wind beneath our feet has gone. And that is the main crux, I would say, for the fear, anxiety, loneliness, and the way the system is, that we were told that, okay, if you are alone. So you are alone. Now you are not used to being alone. You are not equipped to be alone. You don't have the strength to be alone. And that is what is causing this whole gamut of, say, all the emotions. That is the thing. We are not equipped, and we, after a year also, we have not learned that lesson. We are just not equipped. So there is fear. I agree with you, but fear, if you look a little deeper, it's not again of the treatment. I would again urge you to think deeper. It's not
I
about
was just playing a devil's advocate. I
yeah.
am not. I am not really.
I agree. I'm just saying, just go a bit deeper.
I think maybe people who got affected, maybe we can take a few of them to find out how they tackled it, which will give you an idea.
Yeah, that's a different thing. That okay. First of all,
so how do they tackle their loneliness and fear is something that we can get to hear from them.
Definitely, I would agree. Loneliness was there, and somewhere, like, if the whole family is there, so loneliness is not there. If the whole family has been, it's only people who are in the hospital and other people who have been singularly there, and they don't have any family and they don't even know what's happening. There is no information to the family. They're not being able to interact. So that's a different case. We are not talking about that. But again, I mean, before I give tell Archana to take over, my end is just take a moment again to say, is this fear of COVID, or is this fear stemming from something else? Is this loneliness from COVID, or are you anyways lonely? Are your anxieties for real for dying, or are your anxieties real for something else? So that's my take for the topic. And then we will discuss, of course, further. And I agree with you, Jayashree, that people who've had COVID will definitely have a better view. But that view would be different from the topic, I feel, because that view would be that how did they tackle it? We are not discussing the tackling bit. We are discussing that why the fear and anxiety and the loneliness is building up. Thank you. Over to you, Archana.
Yeah, thanks. I think that was quite thought-provoking questions, Manisha, which you asked. And before I speak further, or I would like the group to participate and maybe answer few of Manisha's questions. They're like, is it manifesting, the fear and anxiety is manifesting because of the external reasons? As Vijeta has written in the chat, that she was certainly not scared, but after listening to the news, she got scared, And each one of us have gone through the experience, as Jayashree said, that our own family members have gone through it. We have lost our loved ones, maybe a little distant in family or friends or ex-colleagues. We have lost people. So the fear definitely comes from there, because when you start losing people whom you knew so well, so closely, and it is at a proportion, at a level which is not like, okay, you have lost a friend once in 3 years, because of certain things which are beyond your control. When it happens over days, so many people are dying. Of course, fear and anxiety does come in, and media plays its part and everything. But before we move forward, if any one of you from the group would like to answer these questions, where is this fear and anxiety coming from?
Would you like to say, please?
Yes, Sukanya. Okay.
Sudha, Harira.
Sukanya would like to speak, or I think Upasana put up a hand also.
I personally, I feel that, I am not equipped to deal with, handling the situation of being, what shall I say, totally away from everybody else if one is unwell. I mean, family cannot visit. And that's a very sad, the other way around also, you cannot be of help to anybody. A very helpless situation it is,
Yes.
But that is a case for any kind of situation.
No. This requires you to maintain your distance.
That
Since
is the
it's
difference.
so highly transmissible, we are not even allowed to go near the patient, or if we ourselves are the patient, nobody can come
to us.
So the high degree of transmissibility is another cause for fear, because you're absolutely alone. And another reason is that the great uncertainty surrounding surrounding this disease by epidemiologists and doctors themselves. They are learning day to day. So every day their protocol advice, their suggestions keep varying, and people have to go on changing according to that. So a great degree of fear arises from that point because of the unknown factor. That's what I feel. It's
Yeah.
not anything inbuilt or related to past experience. It's totally novel. That's what COVID is known by. So
Yeah.
that is the issue here. Virologists and epidemiologists themselves are, sometimes taking a U-turn on their opinions because they are not to blame. Every day throws up new learnings for even such people.
New
That's
variant
the
comes
point
up,
I
then
have.
again a new theory of how to handle it comes up.
Yes, and right now they are again turning out the thing about where did it originate. Joe Biden is starting this thing when we thought that that was taken care of, but that was kind of not giving a true picture of the origin. And the origin is very important to prevent future pandemics, not just to lay the blame on somebody, but to know how it started and how we could tackle such viruses cropping up in future. So that's where the fear stems from.
And if anyone would like to share, how did you manage that fear, that anxiety, which has been there with us for the last 18 months now? So I'm sure all of us, because all of us have experienced.
It's been tough. It's been very tough.
Yeah, if you can elaborate a
Yeah.
little more on that.
Anyone else? I don't know because
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I
Anyone?
just
I'll
have
just
one
give you
thing.
my personal experience. I
Sorry.
did turn positive,
Yeah.
but somehow, like I told some of my friends, I enjoyed my isolation in a way because I said, okay, I'm going to be out for the next 18 days, which is the time factor that we had in Haryana. And I said, okay, let me just make the best of what it is. And perhaps in a long, long time, I got time to myself, such a long time to myself, where everything was being taken care of me because my husband did whatever he could in the kitchen and gave me my meals. So I was not thinking of that at all. I know that my breakfast, lunch, dinner, my tea, my mid-morning tea, everything is going to be given to me, including my immunity booster drinks. So I, in a sense, dissociated myself from it. And I just believed I was in some kind of a resort holiday, except it was a 18 by whatever room that I had. And then I didn't allow any negative thoughts to come to me.
Sure.
I thought the way my problem was, it was a simple viral flu that I would have got any other year. I got fever, cold and cough and went off in 4-5 days. And I was perfectly all right for the next 10 days or 12 days. And the nice thing about it was that normally when you fall ill, you get weak and all sorts of things. Unfortunately, I didn't have any of those symptoms. And I was able to come out of it. And it did not allow any fears, any negative thoughts to come through my mind.
I think that's the only way, Jayashree.
Yeah.
That's the
So
only way.
I just allowed myself to be thinking I'm in a holiday resort, except I'm by myself. Okay, fine. I'm okay with that also because I'm okay to being by myself. So
I think the saying which goes that, you know, what happens to you is 10% and 90% is how you react to it. And
yes.
I think that's the only way to manage this fear and anxiety if we are talking about specific to COVID. Okay, my mother, she's 78 years old. She's 5 feet 6 inches tall and her weight is 44 kgs. And you can imagine how skeletal she looks, you know. She's 5 feet 6. She got COVID. For 12 days, her fever did not go down from 102, 103. Her oxygen levels were good. Every time I called my mother from here, okay, Mama, how are you feeling? She'll say, "Mainu koi problem hi nahi hai. I'm all good. Fever hai, fever chala jayega." You know, and I would discuss it with my sister and brother. I would say, how can mummy just say that she has no problem? Okay, she had a video consultation with the doctor. And my brother said that doctor kept asking her, okay, ma'am, what is the difficulty you are facing? She says, nothing. I have no pain. I have no problem. I'm breathing fine. It's just fever. Just take care of the fever. So, Jayashree, what you are saying, you know, that positive mindset, that thing that, okay, I will get okay. Nothing is wrong with me. It is just fever. It has come. It will go. I think that worked for her. Considering her age, considering her physical health, we were very scared. And what we were listening in the media about oxygens and everything going on, we were really scared. But I think her willpower and her positivity is something which she's still very weak. She's still not over. It is just 25 days for her. She's still so weak. But even now I talk to her, she'll say, I'm fine. Yeah, I went and made my tea. Yeah, I gave tea to your brother. Or I did this. I keep telling her, why don't you take rest? Why don't you just not get up from the bed? She says, no, that's not me. I cannot lie down on the bed just for the heck of it. Those 14 days, Jayashri, she did. But rest of the time, she's, I think the only way to handle this fear and anxiety is, one is by switching off the news, I think. And second is by keeping your mind positive. That's my take on it, because then I got it, my husband got it, my sister got it, my brother-in-law got it, and we all got it in different phases. Kisi ka first phase mein hua, kisi ka second wave mein hua, kisi ka really, my mother ka to abhi hua, just about 15-20 days back. So we all got, touch wood, of course, God's grace is also there, and we are lucky, and all of that is there. But somewhere we all were very, very positive. Okay, it's just a virus we have contacted. We need to take care. We need to do whatever doctors are telling us to do. We need to maintain distancing, but we will be okay. We will come back.
Let me just tell you a little bit about my assistant and the girl who works with me. She's what, 26, 27 years old. She got COVID, and she got it in the early stages. I mean, last October, September, October. But they had to put her on antidepressants because a very spunky girl. But suddenly that anxiety that came about in her, I mean, she could not handle it. Newly married, she just could not handle it. What do you tell a person like this? So they put her on antidepressants. So she was like sleeping right through the 15-20 days, you know. And even today when she's trying to work, there is that very drugged kind of attitude in her. What do you tell them? I mean, they've still not come out of it. I know she's still not got out of it. It's
I
like
think actually a lot of talking, lot of conversation. I loved someone who is close to her, a family member, or maybe a friend, or maybe a counselor, maybe someone,
counselor, right?
Yeah, a counselor, someone to whom she can open up absolutely without any inhibitions. She can share her deepest fears, because this is so individualistic, individual to individual, it varies. I think that will help. And it won't have, it is not an overnight thing that one session and 2 sessions and people will start feeling absolutely fine. It takes time. It takes some intervention to be of a longer duration. Sukanya can vouch for it because she has been doing this for so many years. It takes time for people to come over such anxiety and fear, what grips them apart from the physical effort, physically incapacitated you feel at times.
I think one word which we can add here is helplessness.
Yeah.
There is this just helplessness with the current situation that most of us are feeling. And it is this helplessness which is stemming from different factors though, because like what Jayashree said, you don't know whether you'll be treated, you don't know whether your loved one will get oxygen, you don't know what will happen. Like I lost 2 of my cousins and COVID was cured, but the steroids given in COVID caused the system failure. So, and very young. So you don't know that. So it is that uncertainty. But on a positive note, I would really agree that it is only positivity which will work. If you allow the negativity to come in, it is not going to work. Also, again, coming back to another question which has been coming to my mind, is COVID a wake-up call for us? Do we need to practice detached attachment? Why are we suddenly holding on to everything that we have? Like even if you're in a room or whatever, why this whole thing that, that's what we do. We take up everything. नहीं खाना भी मेरे को बनाना है, सब मेरे को करना है, मेरे बिना तो घर ही नहीं चलेगा, सब होएगा. So is it a wake-up call for that too? Do we need to practice detachment? I think there are lots of questions which are there, which of course we can discuss along the way. But to me, I personally feel, though I haven't got COVID, but I personally feel the only way to tackle through it and throughout COVID, in spite of not having got COVID, there have been so much happening. Like I did shifting, my mother was in the hospital, other things. So I have been interacting, going everywhere, doing my work, people coming to my home. I shifted in first week of April, and those 10 days, every day there were 25 odd people in my house. So what does it take? What is the difference? Why one person can take it and why one person cannot take it? I think not sounding to promote us, but I think the difference is what Archana just said. The difference is when you kind of go out and share your inner world with us. I think that's the difference. Why one person can cope up with a similar situation and one person cannot cope up with a similar situation. I think that's the difference. If you work on yourself, if you and we as people, both of us have had very, what to say, I don't know the word. I mean, we've had very challenging lives, both of us. Probably, I think when you have challenging lives, you gravitate towards a certain set of, life skills, and you get those life skills along the way. So that's again another thought, that what is different? Like Jayashri, you mentioning about your girl. So obviously there's a difference in the coping up, right? There is a difference in the coping up. So how to equip people, in fact, in all your club members, how to equip people to go ahead and actually say that yes, if this comes, then this. If this comes, then this.
That's
So
what we're looking at from Meraki.
Yeah.
True.
Upasana, you wanted to say something? I thought at some point in time.
not here to actually promote, but
No. But
you're
to set something rolling, that's what I mean.
yeah.
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 So,
Upasana, you're
Jayashri,
on
Okay,
mute.
Upasana, you're unmuted, so we can't hear you. Please unmute yourself. You're still muted.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes. I would like to introduce myself first quickly. I'm from Sri Lanka,
Okay.
Indian
She's
living
up
in Sri Lanka.
first. Yes.
So there
Thank
was
you,
this
Upasana, for
Sri Lan-
joining.
Sri Lanka Tangent. Yeah. So we have recently joined, Sri Lankan Tangent Club has recently joined the international part of it, and we were sent this link. And because the topic is of my interest, I wanted to join in and listen to what I could learn from it. Very interesting topic, and just a little bit of addition from my side, that when you say how it is different, how this pandemic, this situation is different from normally catching up a disease or an infection, is that I guess the probability is higher. We all know that we could catch any disease or any viral. It has been said, so I didn't want to repeat it, but I feel the fear is because of the probability is high. Of course, on another level, whether a person can be treated or not, but I feel that one gets viral while you're traveling, you can catch it up, but then this is there more on your face. You feel that it's very close to you. I guess that's the fear. Though I'm fortunate to live in a country where people follow the rules and uh, they understand the protocol. We are under lockdown right now. But still, I would say all my family is in India. I would say that is the fear. And also what adds to it is things which are not being able to be done in a normal course. For instance, a family member was supposed to get married, so the marriage is cancelled. They have tried twice, but it didn't work. I'm just telling you about things which happen other than people actually falling sick and undergoing treatment in the hospital. A lot of my family members actually could not survive the pandemic. But other than that, I'm just saying those things like weddings getting cancelled. My daughter is now under quarantine. In normal circumstances, you just She has just come back from UK yesterday. So she is under quarantine for 14 days now. Normally you would just go pick up your child and bring him or her home. But then now she has to undergo that. She is in the army area, not even in a normal hotel. So when you go there and you're not able to see your child, so all those things also add up to the whole situation. This is what I wanted to contribute for the time being.
Absolutely.
And when you say about being positive, I think that's the only thing which keeps one going.
Absolutely.
That's the only thing. And it's reminding of us of our inner strength, that the strength lies within us, how mentally strong we can become. Is the time to actually get into our inner strength and realize that with our own mind, we can create our own reality. So this is what I feel. And yeah, that's what I would like to add right now. Thank you very much.
Upasana, you summed it up very well.
Thank you
Thank
so much, Upasana, for joining in all the way from Sri Lanka. Welcome to Tangent
Thank you.
member clubs. And
Thank
wonderful
you very much.
joined in. Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to hear all of you. Very interesting.
And as far as I'm concerned, I don't think I'm so much worried for myself. I think I'm concerned for my husband because he has comorbidities and he is quite, what shall I say, one of those, kuch nahi hota types, So he's little, like, doesn't flaunt protocol, but I think I'm a little more of the daredevil than he is. But that is, I think, I like to be a little cautious, that's it. Because of the circumstances, and imagine 2021, I have my son in the same city and I've seen him only for 2 days, once in January and once in March.
Yeah.
Soon after I came back, I had to have my shot, and in my own block there were 4 deaths in 2 weeks. But what is the good thing is, because we are positive, we didn't allow it to affect us.
Yeah.
And I think talking to our Tangent friends on the phone and, keeping all these activities going, it is a huge, loss of human contact, Take Ansuya, for example. Ansuya stays by herself. She goes to her daughter's house and after some time, no, Ansuya, she comes back. She misses her own home, but it's so lonely. And then you want the comfort of your own house. Children get upset. They say, you come. So it's very complicated that you just can't say, hey, I'm coming, let's go, let's do something now. The weather is perfect for a walk, to do window shopping. I was telling her the other day, we can't step out. So it's very frustrating, I think.
Actually, Sukanya, what you just said, and Upasana, what you shared, I think all of us are, what we are saying is, it is the curbing of our independence, that sense of independence of doing things, meeting our family, meeting our children, meeting our parents, brothers, sisters, nothing is happening. That sense of independence which COVID has taken it from us, I have been anxious for that,
And we had taken this for granted.
Yeah.
For us, it was a done thing. You could just walk out, go for a coffee and come back.
Yeah.
And nothing would stop you. Now you have this whole gate that is not coming out at all, is not opening at all for you.
And now if we have to talk
you.
about now the session for which we are all got together, how to manage this fear and anxiety. For Sukanya, it could be losing freedom. For Upasana, not meeting her daughter for 14 days, again, losing freedom. For someone, it is, losing a loved one, as Sukanya said, that her husband may not, she's scared for him because he has got comorbidity, someone, fear of losing a loved one. So how do we manage that fear and anxiety, which has happened because of this particular pandemic? I think we all are mature and logical people. I think we all give logic to ourselves, and that is how we deal with it. If I am not able to meet my daughter for a year and a half, I will create logic in my mind. If Upasana is not able to meet her daughter for 14 days, she will create logic in her mind. And you will come up, Upasana, I'm sure you would have come up with certain methodologies to keep in touch with her, to do video calling, or maybe playing a game online with her, or maybe teaching a recipe to her online. So, how do we keep that connect with our loved ones? we all come up with different methodologies and whatever works for each one of us. That technology has been playing a big part, I think, but the baseline remains the same, which is keeping your mind positive and believing that, yeah, this will pass, you know, and we will be able to live life the way we want to.
Is it
said, I think if you know the origin of this is pinpointed, I think it will help the whole world come to some sort of an understanding, as she correctly said, to prevent future pandemics.
Yeah,
that is very important actually from scientific point of view.
Yeah.
Do all of us think that this is time to actually recalibrate ourselves?
I mean, we are doing, I think, or most of us are doing that. I find even our maids and all now, they are very, very, this second wave particularly, we found it is as a newspaper called it, the urban affluent. Not the below the poverty line people. It is the urban affluent who were affected in the second wave. Statistics are also talking about it. So what does that say? I think the lower income bracket, I think, have been more careful about the protocol.
Yes, I think the fear is settled now, so they are very careful, and they are seeing so much of it around.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, they are so careful that if you walk into the room, they say, "Mask pehn lo."
Yes,
and
you're right.
And then
It's
she
the other way
walk out
around
of
now.
the room till I finished my little whatever. If I have to pick up something, then she'll walk in. So though I've told her in the beginning, let both of us not be in the room together, but she follows it to the T, Even if I sort of, in my hurry, I try to do something, she quickly runs out of the room, So it is nice to feel
Truly
that,
the other way around now. Yes,
Yeah.
they are kind of pulling us up.
Yes, they tick us
This is
off.
a good thing,
They tick us
No,
off
like
if
it
we.
just happened just now. That's why I was a little distracted. I've got something at the gate of my building, and they're not allowing them to come in. So it is also the people who are associated with us who are so much more careful. I mean, we are okay to let people into the house, but they are more apprehensive. The security, the housekeeping, because I don't know, it's going around anywhere and everywhere. That fear is there.
They follow the instructions. They follow the instructions to the T. They don't break any.
Yes.
They don't allow it to. We are a little lenient, but they don't get that leniency coming. They follow it to the T.
Yeah.
That's a
So,
nice thing.
Jayashree, if you allow, now we talk about how to cope with loneliness
Yes.
as the second part of our topic today. That I'm sure, all of us would be doing all of these things, but I have got about 4 or 5 points to share. And I'm more than 100% sure that all of us are doing it, but I'm just putting them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 format. So one is that, how do we spend time together with our loved ones? We have to figure out some novel ways to do that. If the virus is novel, we have to figure out the spending time with our loved ones also in a novel way. So that can be a one stress buster or one way to cope with loneliness. And second is that stay physically active. We all have read it, and I'm not saying anything new. Second point is just stay physically active, whether in the house, do yoga, stretch, walk, spot jogging, whatever we can do, because physically active mind, we all know what it does to our health. And third is, of course, there are now, everything is online. Agar nursery class is happening online, and so many classes are happening online. So whatever suits your interest. Maybe, Jayashree, you want to learn how to open an Instagram account and how to do digital marketing over there. Maybe you can take that an online class, that will help you cope with loneliness if you're going through one. If people like me want to learn how to bake, because kabhi bake kiya nahi hai, but acha bahut lagta hai bake karna, maybe this is the time to learn that online baking classes to take. So to each his or her own. So that is another third way of coping with loneliness. And fourth is, we can help others, volunteer to be helpful. Now it can be as simple as become a phone buddy, a phone buddy to someone who is going through COVID. Maybe you can get in touch with people in hospitals, they need to talk to someone. So be a phone buddy, or maybe help someone else. Let's say someone cooking mein kisi ko aati hai, and Manisha is a great cook. maybe she can take out that 1 hour. Okay, I will do that. That will help her to cope with loneliness, as well as it will give her pleasure and satisfaction of helping someone else. So these were just broad 4 or 5 things which I thought, and of course, last, which I cannot miss, is share your feelings. Share your feelings with someone. You know, if you don't have a family member there next to you, maybe over the phone, or maybe hire a counselor and book your sessions. Share your feelings, because this mental and emotional well-being, which has got so affected because of this, that's my last point on coping with loneliness, is that. I'll put it in the chat if you want, but I'm sure all of us know about it.
No, but
Yeah.
please put it in the chat. Yes, I'd like to just copy paste it from there. That would be
Sure,
good.
sure.
Yeah, the talking part is very, very good, because as a practice over the last 1.5 years, for everybody's birthdays, anniversaries, I don't like to put it on the WhatsApp chats much. I pick up the phone and I talk to them, and they all feel good. It's nice to hear. And I also make it a point to call up anyone who's lost a loved one after a period of time, to just chat up with them, to find out how they are, and how they are listening. And I tell them that anytime you want a shoulder to cry on, so to speak, you can always make a call. So I just feel that yes, it is very essential that connectivity is maintained, and it is also very essential that without sounding too blatant that nothing is happening, but yes, ground reality being ground reality, telling them not to overstretch their mind, just thinking about it, and try to deviate your mind and do something else, like you said. That little deviation allows you to, earlier, if you are not feeling too good, you could call up a friend and go and have a coffee. Since that is not possible now, so then you'll have to see how you have to do it yourself. And like you said, maybe do a class. There is something where I read somebody, this Varli is the latest thing. Everybody is doing Varli artwork, and somebody is offering Varli classes. So it makes things a little more interesting, because then you say, okay, fine, this is something that I can occupy my mind with. So at least for 1 hour, you are in that class, and maybe for the next 2-3 hours, you are practicing it. So half your day is taken care of, in a way, other than all the mundane chopping, cleaning, cooking, and all that has to be done. But I think that becomes such a kind of drudgery, in a sense, that you want to do something which is happiness, quotient. They happy.
But isn't
I
all this
totally-
leading to screen fatigue? I mean,
No, I do agree. There is a certain amount of screen fatigue that will happen. That's why I'm saying you do it on your own after that.
Don't have a choice.
Yeah.
No.
yeah.
Yeah, correct.
I think to the list, I would like to add a few more things. Like, of course, what Archana has said are really very, very good pointers. And all of us, if we follow them, I think we would be better equipped. But also take out time for your own self, like for your own personal growth. I would say even that, to me, it is a very, like earlier, I would be like running around here and there, and it was always about the other. But what about yourself? So spend that time, even like if you're doing a class as an example, so you're still interacting with someone else. So how about take out this time to just interact with yourself? To me, if you ask me, I mean, loneliness, of course, everyone feels lonely. It's not that sometimes I don't feel lonely. I mean, I have an empty nest right now. My mom is with me, and I haven't seen my elder daughter in for more than a year. She tried to come twice. She's abroad. The tickets were cancelled both the times. So of course, everyone feels lonely. For me, I think that loneliness has led me to introspect more. And that, because I'm going more and more inside, I think the loneliness factor is reducing. So it's like, I mean, I've always found this saying very, very relevant, that the difference between loneliness and being alone, I think that's what I'm realizing now. And that is my recalibration here. So if we can take that time out, whatever way you wish to. I mean, my schedule is really over the roof of what I do. Like 2 weeks ago, I did 20 kilometers in a day walking. So I get up at 3:30 in the morning, and I have a very, very different schedule. So let's not go into that. But all of us can figure out their own schedules and do what they like, and at least figure out that what is it that I want to do for myself. So I think, to me, that is these things, if we figure out what we want to do for ourselves, so whether it is fear, whether it is anxiety, whether it is loneliness, or whether it is COVID or any other pandemic, I think we will be better equipped to do this. And at the end, I would like to say that both me and Archana would be very happy to actually offer all Tangent members. We do a clarity call. We do a clarity call, which is a 20 to 30 minutes free call. So if anyone wants to pick up that call and talk to us, we are more than happy to do it. And anyone, like you just, we will prefix it with either with me or with Archana, and you can talk to us if anyone is feeling fear or anxiety or wants to share, or is there anything going on in their mind. So we are ready to do that for all the Tangent members. And I think it was a lovely interaction. If there's anything more which we can talk about, definitely. If anyone would like to share anything, any other experience from which we can gain insight, I think that would be lovely.
I'd just like to say, yeah, we've already talked whatever, so it's like a repetition, but I think one way to beat this anxiety is to just completely do something that you've never done before. Surprise yourself, just surprise yourself. I have a friend, my neighbor in this, where I stay, and she lost her sister. And it was very, very tragic. I mean, she just died, and for 13 days, she was there lying in her house. She stays all by herself. Nobody knew. Very tragic. She was going through acute depression. I was trying to pull her out of it. And then this, in the midst of COVID and everything, now they really, she didn't die of COVID. I think she just died of a heart attack. But whatever, it was very sad. She was going through depression. So to get her out of it, I tried all kinds of things. I said, come on, let's try knitting. She said, I have never held 2 needles in my life. I said, Mangla, just surprise yourself. You never know. And there's a very sweet Marwari lady here who's so good at all this. And she's been telling us, just come. Anytime any of you want to learn, just come to me and I'm willing to teach. She was so sweet. And I said, come on. I had knitting needles. I told her, I said, let's go get wool. Ordered wool online. Made her get down to it. We taught her. She was very awkward about it. But she learned. She was just making these long scarves for people, for her daughter. And it's giving her joy, it's getting her out of it. I tried to get her into gardening, which is what I'm trying to talk to her now about it. I said, just get a few plants, put them out in your balcony, water them every day, go and talk to them every morning, So that's just the only way to do something that you've never done before, surprise yourself. How do you know till you do it that why start off by saying, no, I'm not good at it, I don't have the... Try it, it'll work. And I can see the change. I mean, definitely it makes you feel positive. You do something creative, you feel good about it, builds up your, So this is what I've been telling people who say I'm anxious and I'm feeling depressed. And, so all of us are, I worry because, okay, we are the blessed ones. We're only 2 of us. We've got no kids at home to drive online classes, but we've got 2 daughters who live abroad. And we worry about them, And so I said, the only way to do is to keep on doing things, surprise yourself. Every day in the morning, just say, let me do something that I've never done before. Start a new hobby, cultivate a new interest or whatever, read books which are not, very, very uplifting. We have the time. So I think that's one way to, and of course, throw in a lot of meditation or whatever. A lot of people say, no, I've tried meditation, it doesn't work. I said, just give it a shot. Keep on doing it. Somewhere along the way, you know that thing to focus and look inwards will come. And I think it's just that we need to have that will to do it and just do it. That's it. It's a great way to feel mentally very good. I've seen it.
And practice makes perfect.
Brilliant idea, Bhanu, doing something out of the usual, totally new.
Totally new. You may not have done it in your life. Not threaded the needle. I know people who are now sitting and doing little embroidery. It's good.
I
Do
like
it.
the term she used, surprise yourself.
Yes.
Yeah,
Also.
Because we take
That's-
ourselves for granted so much.
absolutely.
Really.
That's it. Just do things. Just
I
say,
took this
okay.
online course to do specialized writing for people with visual impairment. I've never done something like that in my life before. I said, let me try it, and I find like it is so challenging, and I really don't have time to even brood. It keeps me occupied and stimulated. That's the thing.
And a sense of fulfillment.
Yeah.
Also, I really miss seeing my tangent friends, because we are a very clear bunch. In person, we try to make up with it on Zoom, but it is never the same, because if we are together, we make so much noise, we talk for hours, we are so, close. But that is, I really miss that. But as you correctly said, learning something new is very uplifting.
Very, very uplifting. Anything.
And then when you create something, I think that gives you such a sense of satisfaction.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Truly it does. And I think gardening is a great thing,
Yeah.
Just put a few plants in your balcony. That's it. Every morning, just spend time there.
I kill everything. I didn't try hard enough, I think.
No.
I thought I didn't have green fingers, but suddenly I'm finding that my plants are looking up at me. So I think that maybe my fingers are getting a little green.
It's just that you're giving it more attention. Maybe you're smiling at your plants.
No, I talk to them always.
Oh, yes. Very
I
good.
ask
You can
them-
even sing
I
to
ask them what is
You can
worrying
even
them.
sing.
No, then they might die.
I don't think, Jayashree.
Maybe that is
Can I-
something I should
can
try,
I
surprise
can I
myself
just-
by starting.
Pasna, you were wanting to say something.
Can I just compliment all of you? There's so much of exuberance, enthusiasm, and that energy flowing in, from the Zoom call. It's lovely. I must compliment you, all of you.
Pastor,
Very nice. Of course, like I said, we all are the blessed ones. We have a chance, or maybe our concentration is more on looking at how filled our glass is, or counting our blessings. And in addition to that, when I see that you all are so exuberant and doing new things, surprising yourselves, like you said, it's really amazing. It's lovely.
Upasna,
I'm really
we've got
I
a
impressed,
lot
read
of
would say.
somewhere.
things in Tangent India,
Yeah.
and it's only now that I've started getting in touch with y'all. We'll keep circulating. Do join in, encourage more of the friends to join in.
I read something somewhere. It says, instead of asking whether you have a glass or a cup half full or half empty, just be grateful you have a glass or a cup.
Yeah.
So to start with that I think there is one thing that adds on to all this is the sense of gratitude of what you have.
Yes, absolutely.
So
and-
Kanya, Archana wants to leave.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
If you can,
So shall we
Just quickly wrap up.
session?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
will-
have.
And I will take your leave, Archana and Manisha and everybody, Jayashree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll also
I think we'll
Thank you so
also
much.
let's wrap
thank
up.
you so much.
That was
Thank you.
very nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you
for your
so
time
much.
here.
you.
It was
Archana
really
and
food for
Manisha.
thought.
Thank you, Pasna, for joining in.
you
You've
so
broken
much.
that little jinx, and let's see more of your
Bye,
work.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Upasna, we will
Bye.
maybe share WhatsApp numbers and maybe we can then chat up.
Yes.
Oh, that will be nice. Lovely.
We'll do
Sure.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And
Nice
look
to-
forward the link to the next month's meeting.
Absolutely.
There are
the-
other activities
Where do you
also.
live in,
Yeah, and
Sri
on
Lanka?
Oh,
the
that'd be
19th,
nice.
we are hosting the TCI. We are felicitating the TCI board. So please do join us. I mean, I've told Vasanthi about it. I will send you all
Okay.
details. And plus, Upasna, why don't you just put your mobile number on the
Chat.
chat box? Yeah,
Yeah. I'll do
because
that. I'll
after
do
that, we are all doing a video, the headboard over here of a dance. Girls, when are you going to do it?
that. Okay. All
I'm not part
right.
of that.
We want you to do that, and then we are going to make a little movie out of it.
Okay. All right. Okay, fine.
All right. Okay.
Thank
Lovely.
I'll
you.
also get
Thanks,
going.
Manisha.
Bye,
So
everyone.
much.
I'll just put my
Bye.
number there.
Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
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 you.
you.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Manisha.
Thank you,
Nice
everybody.
talking to
Thank
you all.
you,
Bye-bye.
Sukanya,
We shall discuss
Jayashree,
about the
and
next topic
Milakshi.
and we will come back
Yes.
Yeah.
after the,
Yeah.
Also,
Thank
if you
you.
could share the
it
link,
Bye.
was, yeah,
if you have a grab of the video, which, if you
Yeah.
could do that, then we would like share it on our page and everything.
absolutely.
I'll send you the recording.
Our President Jayashree will do the needful.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
ladies.
girls.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Lovely
you.
meeting
Bye.
you.
God bless everyone.
Bye, Sudha.
Bye,
Bye,
God bless
everyone.
Alicia.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye,
And may the
Lata,
world
who's
heal
behind
soon.
the screen, and
Bye.
Vijeta.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
May the world
Bye.
heal soon. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye. Take care, girls.
Thank you. Bye, girls.
Bye.
Bye.